Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock on Monday. It's week 5. Yes, it's week 5. And I'm really excited to say that even though I've been really sparse with my comments, I feel like I've caught up with almost all of the work that you've done thus far this quarter, and things are going really well. What I've saved for myself are your very first discussions where you introduce yourselves, and then Charlotte's Web, because that's our first quest we've done together, and I want to make sure that I do give you comments for that. Also, since you introduced yourselves in that first level, I want to take a moment and just acknowledge and say hello in a more meaningful way and make things more personal. So, if you're wondering what I'm going to prioritize next, I'm hoping that over the course of this whole week that I can chip away at those things and really learn your names, learn who you are, and have like a better sense of clarity for our quarter ahead. So if you do, though, want to look at the gradebook a little bit with me, a lot of you, the majority of you have just completed all of the levels. You've been doing amazing work. And there are a handful of little reboots. Those are going to show up as purple. And what you want to do is just read the comment that I've written in there. If I give you a reboot, there's almost always a comment. If there's not, reach out and ask. But the idea is that if there's a reboot available, then you just say, yes, I would like to redo whatever element is missing or whatever element needs to be improved. And then you would just email with me to say, hey, I did that, or how would you like me to do that, etc. If you receive a little orange dot and it says no attempt, it just means that while I was flipping through those speed graders, what it's called on our end, I didn't see your work for that level. And so you need to email to request a reboot. And what you really want to do, what applies to all of you, is don't pay attention to the numbers that show up in the gradebook. So if it says like 1 or 0.65, that's really just like a key. Those numbers cue whether the gradebook says level completed with treasure, reboot available, no attempt. So the numbers don't matter. They just cue the qualitative phrase is what it's called. And then by mid-quarter, we'll be looking at, hey, you guys have completed this number of levels. You've completed this number of quests. You're guaranteed to pass the course with a C. If you do these things, you'll earn a B. If you do these things, you'll earn an A. And you're really just trying to tally up completed levels and quests, and then perhaps some treasure. So if you have a reboot, if you have a no attempt, that's an incomplete level unless you do something about it. So go ahead and check those out. Let me know if you have questions. But even if you've been completing stuff, I will say that there are 2 kind of main themes that stand out to me thus far. I'd love to see everyone continue to work on using the references to the texts very specifically. So in English courses before or other college classes, you've probably learned how to put page numbers for a text in parentheses. So if you talk about something that Russell shared in his book, for instance, about a poem, poems may rhyme or they may not rhyme, like Russell says. You could write on page 56, Russell says blankety, 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 blank. Or you could do the Russell says this, da, 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 parentheses, page 56. I don't care about the formalities of citations. I care that as you're discussing texts that you're pointing to the pages where you're getting things from. And I think I was rather, lenient or flexible about that right now, but I'd love to up that expectation going forward. Like when you're working with a book like Charlotte's Web, really making sure that you at least, if you're not going to do a page number, help us out by saying what chapter you're working from, something like that, so that we can literally be on the same page with you. Or if somebody wanted to look at that for some reason, they could get to right where you are without any fuss. Okay, so let me think if there's anything else. Oh, just a reminder that if you go into modules, at the very top of the modules page is a link to tips for completing levels and quests and earning treasure. And if there's any expectation I have in order to complete levels or earn treasure, it's stated there. So if you're wondering, how do I improve my work? Individual comments are helpful, like to Amber, to insert your name here. And I will, like I said, be doing more of that. But that document actually gives the advice that I'm usually just, doling out all quarter long. So I just encourage you once again to revisit that, especially because I will be more actively looking and working on your work with you. But you guys have been doing great. And I feel really just a sense of satisfaction seeing all the books you've been sharing, all the stories you've been sharing, the ways you've been connecting, even so many of you saying that you don't like fiction. That was kind of funny because I relate to that. Well, I used to feel that way. I feel differently now, but we change, we evolve. So now let's talk about this week. You know what I'm going to be working on. Here's what you're working on. Level 6, picture books and the Caldecott Award. Caldecott and Newbery are the top awards in children's literature historically. So we'll be digging into those over the next couple of weeks. But picture books is so exciting because they're like little bite-sized stories, like the length of a song. And, we're going to get to see so many of them and start getting into artwork and illustration. So by Thursday night, get your original post published. And then by Sunday, do your replies. Along with that, this is just a little subdivision of picture books. We're going to look at wordless picture books, so pictures only. Some people, including myself for a long time, didn't even or aren't aware that there's an entire genre of books for children that's really elaborate illustrations without any words whatsoever. So that's what the wordless picture books discussion lets us dive a little bit deeper into. And some of my favorite recommendations from this course every quarter come in that space. So that's all for this week for you guys, and I'll start grading those next week, but this week I'm going to devote myself to Charlotte's Web and your bios and just cleaning up emails and making sure that you guys sense my presence a little bit more adequately for the rest of the quarter. And I'm really pumped to be able to connect with you. So reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you soon.